just a quick round for us to get going, right? I mean, all of us now think that we are almost in like a post-pandemic world. Do we still think that AI ML continues to give us an edge because technology is still uh, part of our main armory, and will AI ML continue to be one of the differentiators for each one of us? And I would essentially like you guys to answer it from your domain standpoint rather than your individual organization. So maybe I'll start with you, Sharathi. Sharathi, in BFSI, do you still think AI ML will continue shining bright?
Yes, I think it will continue shining bright and we will get a lot more use cases.
Okay.
Harshit, let me start with a cross-industry example.
Perfect.
We are all now currently driving our own cars post-pandemic, right? Because we've all become very conscious. Say I, as a customer, agree to install a device that registers my activity while driving. So such data could be my car speed, how many times I brake, mileage, times of day, when the vehicle is used, weather conditions, all of it. Sure. Now, this is my general behavior as a driver and safety record, right? Now, this activity is actually relayed to, let's say, the insurer via the Internet of Things. Sure. Now, the more of this data that the insurer has on their customers, the more they adjust their premiums accordingly. So for example, I am a very safe driver. So I should actually, at the time of renewal of my car insurance, get a far better premium than, for example, another driver whose driving is not so safe. So from a customer perspective, what does this do? It positively reinforces the desirable behaviors. From the insurance company perspective, they can also reduce their fixed costs, and it's a win-win all the way. So I feel the use cases have just begun for AI and ML, and we will see a lot more usage of it, effective usage, which is win-win for both customer and the organization.
Perfect. So thanks, Sharathi, for bringing that point in, right? Industry which is a little bit different. I know it is a little bit connected because it is insurance. So it is a little bit related industry, but just because you shared a cross-domain reference, let me get Santakumar in here. Santakumar, you have been working across different domains, right? How would you take a shot at the same question if you were to look at from various industries about AI and ML still continuing to go, and we would want it to go rearing more?
Yes, definitely it will, because if you notice, we are becoming very dependent on technologies. I mean, in Malaysia, we use Waze. If your phone runs out of battery halfway, you don't know where to go. You're just lost in the town. You're very dependent. And let the machine do the thinking for me. When I log into my Lazada or Amazon, I know what I need will be there based on my past search reference and everything. So I prefer that way because today we don't have time to go and search for the things that we are looking for. Let the machine learning, let the AI do the job at the back. And I think I speak for the customers. This is what customers are looking for. It's just at the moment I'm noticing that the AI is a bit behind schedule because currently I'm setting up my studio. I've already got my spotlight, my camera and everything, but whenever I go into my Lazada, it will still show me all these equipments. It should get smarter and predict what I will need next, and that will be a better solution. I think it will evolve, and eventually the AI and ML will have the come to that human thinking capacity and will resolve a lot of issues that human can't resolve. So I have a strong take on that.
Fantastic. So let me move on from AI and ML having an edge to a little bit more basic question, right? And maybe just because Santakumar, you use the word Amazon, I can move on to Washima to give us a little bit of understanding there. Washima, Amazon is end-to-end a tech company, right? And I'm sure anything and everything you guys think of internally, you think of it in terms of automating that leg. Even if it is inside out or outside in, you would want it to be tech for the entire stack, right? Tell me, I mean, when you look at people still going offline, we have seen so many case studies around Amazon Go and things like that, right? How do you think that a tech or AI ML can stand up to what you get in a personal offline world? Can it match or not match? And if it can't match, what is it that all of us can do for it to keep on upgrading itself from its different versions, from maybe 1.0 to experience 3.0, for us to make it very seamless for the end consumers? So is personal experience which you provide or which people get in stores, is that going to be something which will be bridged very soon by technology?
Thank you, Harshit. And yes, you're absolutely right. As we've seen from the other panelists and also in the previous discussions, AI, ML, and customer experience and the scope of things is increasing. So ideally, the ideal experience in the world is you have one dedicated agent providing that dedicated service to that one customers. But in age where you want to have scale, where there is so much data, it is virtually impossible. So how do we achieve that best personalized experience is by building up these models using AI and ML. And when we use AI and ML, there is so much more that we can apply to it. It can be applied to all sections of the businesses. So just to bring the impact, I'll talk from the customer support or customer experience perspective.
Sure.
So when we talk about AI and ML, it's about a combination of how do we people, process, and tools. How do we develop our tools? Because an AI ML model is nothing but how good you build in terms of detecting, reading, and accuracy of that model. So once you have that model which is created well, you can assign your basic request, your simple solutions over to that ML model. It can provide quick solutions to the customers. It can provide unified solution, which takes away manual error. Your AHTs, your cost, all of these goes down. So majority of customer experience or customer support contacts that come at a call center or the customer reaches out, 80% of them are usually very simple solutions. And right now, you have different demographic of customers. So you can use AI ML model to identify, create not just personalized experience, but personas. Identify what each customer wants. Like there could be a customer like a 40-year-old male sitting in a tier 3 city who would still want that phone conversation versus a 18-year-old millennial who would just want, go to the app and the solution readily provided for him. Sure. So it's all about what kind the customer wants. So it's breaking up your customer requirements. So your model should be agile enough to understand what the customer wants and giving them that customized solution. And then breaking down those 80% of your easy solutions with a no-brainer, quick solution to that customer. Even if it is through an email, phone, or through a self-service model, it should be seamless and quick, because now the customer demands are increasing. They want things as of yesterday. So 80% of your simple problems can be solved through AI and ML. You have to design your product so better that it helps answer those solutions. And it's not just about providing those solutions. Those solutions have to be right. So most people think about, or most companies are focusing on bringing these models to give solutions, quick solutions. But are these solutions effective? So which is where you need to use product to tie back to your businesses to get that, do you have the right solution in place? So that covers for the 80% of your problems. Now for the remaining 20% of your problems, which is where you need to still have that human interface, and then create a scalable model that can be then converted into your regular AI ML model, which can be then, the customer responses can be then built in the model. So it's a constant discovery phase where you discover new solutions, new problems, you train the model to then answer for it. So I'll take a pause. I just, spoke about one end of how AI ML can be used in customer service. I can talk about other, element legs too.
Sure, absolutely. And thank you so much for those insights. And let me move on to someone almost in the similar space, right? I know Anuradha comes from exactly same domain, retail, and she might be fighting head on with you when she has her customer walking into the store. So I will have Anuradha answer this, saying when you see Vashima doing all of this in the back end, everything being used via tech, right? And I'm sure all of us are seeing those videos where Amazon is creating a supply chain of containers and all of that, right? tell me, how will you change the experience in the store, or how will you elevate that experience for the customer to keep on having that stickiness to walk into the store, maybe once every 3 times they want to do a purchase, not every time, and still make sure that they have some memorable experience of a store visit, and still not keep on hopping onto an app where they would order the same thing. So Anuradha, over to you.
Yes, so thanks, Harshit, and yeah, Bashima put it so well by saying what she did. I would like to start by telling you what you said. You know, we are almost in the pre-pandemic or whatever, over the pandemic. So the truth is that what happened, and I'm sure each of our industries would be aware of it. What happened is that the customer changed, their behaviors changed, and it's shifted. That's a better way to put it. They've all shifted. And so here we are with a legacy of more than 20 years in retail, where we've seen the customer come and experience a physical store. And unlike any other online player, where the experience is largely visual, right, and a little bit auditory, our store experiences are multi-sensorial, right? The moment someone wants to buy a rice, and I'm bringing up rice because rice is so diverse across the country. Each one of you here, if I ask, would be consuming a different kind of rice. But do you remember how rice was bought? We touched, we felt, we smelled, we said how the grain was. Ye purana chawal hai, or is it a new rice? So, you know, all of that used to happen. And now I'm seeing this whole our own foray into the whole digital space. We have a robust e-commerce business also, which we started early this year. And I will just leave behind this, that the VAKT, the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile experience, which one would kind of see in the store. If AI can solve for all of this, visual it can, auditory, like I said, many organizations, many startups are trying it out, but the kinesthetic of, you know, the feeling of space. How do I see this in that space? How do I see this dress which I'm looking at online? How will it look in the party? How will it look for a day wedding? How will it look for an evening wedding? Tactile, which is yet to be solved for. So that is a true and potent combination of how AI largely can let us there. ML, and in my mind, while the other panelists will have a different perspective, AI and ML I see very differently. And ML can happen and is happening to a great extent everywhere. Each one of the organizations here will be choosing their own way of doing, and we also have our way of doing. But how can AI be used to create delight is what we would be looking forward to. And working with many more players to see how we can bring that to the customer. The customer earlier used to be coming 2 to 3 times in a month to us, and now they can choose to come 2 times, shop once online. The new millennial customer may not want to come even once, all 3 times in the month, shop online. So it's a hybrid model. And so to be able to solve for that customer is the most exciting part of this, is how I see.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anuradha, for that. And I could totally relate to when you talked about a Purana rice versus a new rice and all of that. Let me have Ankur also jump into this question, right? And Ankur, while in the current role at Wells Fargo, you still talk about forms and onboarding customers and looking at the trade lines. Tell me, if you were to look back on your experiences, your earlier avatars, which were in Ola and things like that, you would still agree to Anuradha's point around the tactile, the touch and feel, things around auditory, things around people having very experiential and in-store kind of experience? Will it still supersede what we provide by machines? It may be AI, it may be ML, but what's your take on this?
So actually, I think there are 2 different questions that you're asking, right? So one is in-person physical experience versus online experience, which is a different question from what can machine learning or AI do in either context.
I would keep the second question aside, because we can keep on doing different use cases around what can be done. I'm still comparing the first part of the question, like you said, right? Physical vis-a-vis virtual. And how would you fare that from two different domains, right? For something like a Ola or your previous experiences vis-a-vis a banking where a physical and virtual are now kind of fusing too much, right?
Right.
So that's what my question was.
Yeah. So I think so banking and let's say Make My Trip, which is travel ticketing, right? Those are pure virtual businesses, right? There's nothing to be felt or seen, right? So unless somebody needs advisory on some kind, then potentially personal touch helps. And there, I think that there is no way technology can take away from that, right? The human element. But everything else is just transactional, right? So where there's transactional, obviously virtual and technology are fantastic, right? In Travel Guru, in Make My Trip and Travel Guru, there's obviously we were selling travel. There is physical element in the actual travel that obviously you cannot take away, right? I mean, you can't travel virtually, but there is a lot that technology can do to help you make your decisions around that as well, right? So that's all pretty done and dusted. I mean, those are all solved, right? If you talk Ola, right? So there's no human element needed in actually booking a cab, right? But obviously, again, there's a physical element on the actual ride itself. And technology of all kinds, including ML, is already utilized big deal in the upstream, right, fulfillment world, right? So, I mean, the cab booking services cannot work at scale without using substantial technology and also substantial amount of machine learning models, right? So they're like enough use cases there. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ankur. Coming back to what we were discussing, right? And maybe Santkumar, you can try and take a dig at this. Do you think that maybe sometime very soon we'll run out of use cases where we will still need technology to keep on replacing something which used to happen in a physical world or where humans used to provide experiences, right? When you walk into a store or maybe you go to a theater to experience a movie and the ticketing happening over a counter and things like that. Do you still think that we will still have enough use cases for next 3 to 5 years, or we'll run out of some of these use cases in technology or AI ML will start plateauing out in terms of the use cases for different industries? And I'll start with you and then come around the house with Sharathi around BFSI and all of that for us to understand how we see new use cases coming in for us to apply technology.
Okay, I will start with the Race to Conquer the Space by Virgin, Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, and also Elon Musk. How do I see it is, yes, what we see, they're racing to conquer the space, but any technology is manufactured by either the military technology or space rocket scientists. So in the process of conquering the space, they are building a lot of and innovating and inventing a lot of technologies out there. So in terms of use case, yes, we have it's ever evolving. Technology is ever evolving. So we will have more. I mean, for me, if you look at the youngsters today, I think we all are old enough to talk about the youngsters. They can sit in a coffee shop and connected via game. They are connected through games, Mobile Legends and all these. They can sit the whole day, play the games, and they sit and they laugh. They just don't look at each other to talk. So in terms of getting new use case is not an issue because the younger generation is becoming very technology centric compared to us. And I mean, you can give me a PS5, I wouldn't know how to play, but for them, it's part of their life. You can't take that away from them. So moving forward, as the older generation, we are adapting to new technologies. We have to focus on the younger generations entering the industry. We have to focus very much how this industry is going to be next 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years. Where are your customers today? Focus on their profile today, study them, analyze them. They are very, very tech-centric. They are not like us. they are no more that hybrid generation. They are pure digital generation. So we have to work towards that. And I believe AI and ML will be an additional source and helping tool to put technology in place to create an end-to-end personalized, seamless experience for the future generation, future customers. That will be my take.
Sure. Thank you so much, Santakumar. Sharathi, do you want to take a shot at it in terms of, are you guys running short of use cases where you can experiment with AI ML in the banking industry?
No, Harshit, we are not. One part, I think in my previous discussion, I spoke about AI. So let me look at ML. Let's look at robo-advisory based on robotic process automation, RPA, ML. It affords a key benefit. We increase process efficiencies, plus we create a human experience, okay? And many banks are already using this technology, and I think we have just touched the tip here. So look at how I am saying this can be used. When coupled with machine learning, RPA can help employees of banks navigate increasingly complex situations and detect patterns that I as an employee cannot see. Now, when I am freed from repetitive systematic tasks, I can actually expend my energy where I can speak to the customer. That is what I do well. That is what robots don't do well, right? So I'm saying, look at it, rather than spending my time calculating the charge or how much I can reverse or how much of TDS, tax deduction at source. I would much rather that my colleague spend time explaining it to the customer, navigate the customer through a resolution with empathy rather than getting muddled in calculations. And that is where I feel use cases have just started. And we need to use humans to provide for a humane experience and let the computers do the calculation for me.
Sure. And moving on, I think, Vashima, if you can step in here, and from your previous role at Zomato, I mean, tell me, if you were to look at a food industry, right? I mean, there is already so much which we see on apps like Zomato. I mean, do you still think that there will be enough and more packages which will be created along with food for people to have differential experiences, or do you think that from a use case standpoint, it'll start plateauing out very, very soon?
Harshit, we've not even scratched the surface. As Sharathi said, that you're talking about, let's say, use cases being eliminating. I'm saying we've not even scratched the surfaces. If you can think about, there are only handful of big companies in India right now. I can probably only 15, 20 who are actually using ML model or AI. We are just listening about augmented reality or virtual reality. There is so much exploration, invention happening there. We've just scratched the surface. And I'll probably pick up some point that Anuradha had mentioned, like when you go into a big bazaar, there is the customer entire journey, right from when you enter the store, when you look for a product, you buy for a product, you compare, you put it in your bag, you pay for it, you stand in queue, you pick it up, you take it to your home. There's this entire journey. Same way you have this entire journey experience in an online model. There are so many touch points, so many places where you can use both AI to identify how better you can serve the customers. You can build models accordingly. Like, how do you want to stock the product? How do you want to give support to that customer who's walking into a store or who's buying online? We've just scratched the surface. Now, this is something that we know, tip of the iceberg. Below the line, how do you integrate this data going back to your business? So in an online experience, if I can drive the similar customer journey, you have when the customer comes to browse, when the customer adds that product to the cart, when the customer pays for it, buys it, receives it, experiences it, if you have to reach out to the contact center, return it, replace it. So there's this whole customer journey. And then you have information that can be gathered, for example, at the browse node. The customer, let's say his coupon code did not work, or the landing page from marketing sites did not work. The item is not available, which is a warehousing problem. The item is not deliverable, which is a logistic problem. There's a the size or color is not available, which is your vendor or your business problem. So there is so much data which is there. And we are not, how do we connect that back to that organization to have better information, solving problems at root? So AI, ML, we've just scratched the surface. I don't think we've even covered 5% of the problems, even in top companies and smaller companies. India is still an unorganized market. Even in organized offline retail, we've not scratched it. So, and then you have the offline model pushing the online model and online pushing the offline model. So each model is pushing each other to make it better. Same way, customers are pushing us to make it better. They want things quicker, faster. So, and then at a lot of times, companies are educating customers, are providing these options to customers for something that they did not even know previously existed. We never thought that, hey, we could have a cab delivered onto our doorstep without the hassle, without the haggling, without the bad experience. So there are companies who are providing these experiences to the users. So it's all about how we are making each other better. We have like millions of chaiwala stores. We have millions of kirana stores. They don't even use AI ML. There is huge potential to tap all this information. So we've not even scratched the surface for AI ML.
So fantastic. It's heartening to hear that all of us are still rooting, that we have a long journey there. Anuradha, maybe if you can step in and tell us what will be the next 2 use cases, and I'll go to Ankur also after her. What do you think would be next 2 use cases where you would want a technology to intervene and help you, even when you are focusing more from an offline experience standpoint, right? Tell me 1 or 2 things, and maybe we'll jump on to Ankur where he can help us take another view at it.
Yeah. So, Harshit, I will answer this both for an online and an offline experience.
Sure.
And I would like to kind of bring it up here that while many of us in all these forums, we've been talking about the whole world going digital, there is still 30, 40, or maybe more percentage of this country which is not. Right, and we will know numbers of smartphone penetration. We will know numbers of 4G users, and hence I think there is definitely a use case for a lot of first-time users to technology, any kind of technology, right? And even if it means basic digital payments inside the store, I think there is a whole use case which emerges there. In India, especially, the use case emerges for languages, and everyone solves for English, and maybe then go to Hindi and then a few key languages. But the more you go to regions, and I'm sure each one of us would have received at our respective customer care centers, a customer who's saying that, hey, why aren't you speaking in my language? Why doesn't your team speak in my language, right? That I think is another use case. And one more use case, which is very close to my heart and close to Big Bazaar heart, is the senior citizens. And we actually inside here we call them young elders, because here is a huge consuming population. They have money, they have time, they have resources, they would like to shop, they would like to consume, but they get restricted by technology, by COVID, by availability of or ease of services, etc. If we can solve for them, I think it will be such a huge thing to happen to us as a country. And when I say this, it is each of our parents right now who are trying to learn the Facebook or the Google Meet or digital payment or any of those. So, for all these 3 customer segments, I'm saying security is a must. Safety of using technology is a must, right? Familiarity with what I'm going to use. It's not going to take me into a wrong places. All of these are musts, right? And hence I think that that's something which is waiting to happen here.
Fantastic, Anuradha. Ankur, would you want to take a shot at this in terms of how are you imagining the next level of use cases from a banking standpoint, or maybe from your previous roles for any other industry, so to say?
I think I'll take a few examples, but I think I don't see like any big leaps happening, right? So I think this is these technologies are going to do incremental improvements in tons of different fulfillment areas in small little chunks, leading to much lower friction for our lives as consumers throughout, right? And they will typically, in my view, they will typically not be in your face, right? So consumers won't know what is happening behind the scenes, right? So take like a couple of examples from domains that I'm familiar with, right? So if I talk mobility, right, in cabs. So one is, let's say, and we have like tens of thousands, right, maybe hundreds of thousands of vehicles running, the fleets running, right? So predicting when a particular vehicle needs to go to the service station to get a certain thing repaired, right, in advance, right? That is huge, right? Because ensuring supply is available for consumers is a big deal, right? Another is being able to predict in advance where will demand come from on an hour by hour basis or a day by day basis, right? And what is going to happen to supply. Right? So, I mean, we are all consumers of Uber and Ola, right? And this is one of the big problems, right? So those are problems that have not been solved well, but can be, right? If I take an example of travel, then helping hotels figure out what they need to improve on based on the tons and tons of user generated content that is sitting out there, right? Reviews. I mean, the people have been at it for a while. Right? This is not a new problem, but hotels actually don't really get a lot of actionable intelligence, right? They have to go parse all the reviews themselves and try and figure out what to do. Right? So these are like simple use cases, but to me, we have to do like one step better in each of these, and it'll more be iterative and specific to use cases and industries. I think the world where we can find solutions that are broad, horizontal, ML AI driven solutions is a long way off.
Thank you so much for those views, Ankur. And I know a few of us are kind of running short on time. We had hard stop of 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do a quick rapid fire, right? What I would want each one of you to tell me is one specific domain where you think the impact of AI and ML is going to be enormous in next couple of years, right? So, maybe if you guys choose a domain which is not yours, it'll just help build more confidence around in terms of where you think the application of AI ML will be more. I mean, it could be e-commerce, it could be banking, it could be things related to retail, anything which you can think of. I'll quickly go around the room, and maybe we'll start with you, Sharathi.
Insurance.
Insurance. Ankur?
I think healthcare.
Fantastic. Sant Kumar?
Real estate.
Anuradha?
Education, I think.
Washima?
I think retail and healthcare.
Fantastic. So I just wanted to make sure that the audience understands that the application for AI ML are not going to die down across any of the industries. And the reason why I had that a little bit of ambiguous question in terms of the use cases plateauing was just to reinforce the fact that we are just getting started. I don't think any one of us will find it difficult to keep on reimagining how to better our customer journeys by way of incrementally putting things like Ankur was saying, or maybe by taking a very long leap of faith for the customer, like Anuradha was mentioning, saying that, hey, we can do something which is substantially better for a specific segment group, right? So thank you so much for all those views. I'm quite delighted that we were able to contain in time, and also we were able to get this well-rounded perspective from each one of you from different domains. Thank you so much for joining in, and it was fantastic to hear and get insights from each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Harshit.
Thanks,
Thank you.